public hearing is now called to order at 6 p.m. on February 15, 2024. This hearing is being held as required by the provisions of Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Law of the Commonwealth, an act relative to the protection of the wetlands is most recently amended. Notice of the time and place of this hearing was originally published in the Fairhaven Neighborhood News on December 7, 2023. It was also posted in the town clerk's office. Persons wishing to be heard will be called in the following order. Okay, first up, minutes for approval, November 29th, 2023. I reviewed them. I didn't have any changes.
I thought they were okay. I make the motion we accept as submitted.
Motion made by Everett,
Second?
second by Heidi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Did we make a motion to open this meeting?
No.
Motion open?
Second.
Okay. What was that? We would normally do that. But
Oh.
No, we open the public. We're going to open the public hearing. Okay. Old business. Continue public hearing. Notice of intent, Kenneth and Giselle Camara, 12 Arches Way, map 16, lot 18F. SE file number 0010590. A notice of intent was filed by Kenneth and Giselle Camara, property located at 12 Arches Way. The applicant proposed to construct a new garage with covered patio, access driveway, and related site work within a 100-foot buffer zone bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Rick Sharon of Sharon Associates. The plan name is Plan of Site Improvements in New Garage dated November 9th, 2023. Rick Sharon requested a continuance on February 28th to the February 28th meeting. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. Well, I guess I'll entertain a motion to continue this until February 28th.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, new business. Extension of order of conditions, Acushnet Solar, 1050 Main Street. SC file number 0010543. Property owner Raymond and Simone Bullia. A request for extension of an existing order of conditions is filed for SC 0010543, Acushnet Solar LLC for property located at 1050 Main Street, map 7, lots 24 and 24B. The applicant proposes to construct a large-scale solar project on a portion of the 1050 Main Street property. The solar panel system will be located in the central upland portion of the site with driveway access onto Main Street within a 100-foot buffer zone of bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Eric Glass and Bill and Thomas. Plan name is Large-Scale Solar Energy System in Acushnet, Mass. Dated October 5th, 2019, submitted by SciTech Incorporated. Review of matters presented, votes may be taken. I'll entertain a motion to open this public hearing. Motion to open.
It's not a public hearing.
Oh, it's not a public hearing? Oh, it's not?
Just, no ad was run for these.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Eric, the floor is yours.
Just to confuse you more, you don't have Eric, you have John Markey here, I'm the attorney who helps them, and Nate is here who works with Eric. Just briefly, great, it's nice to meet you all, and I appreciate you unfortunately going to have to look at me several times tonight. So this is a solar group that we represent called Nexam. You guys, I think, had the opportunity of some of you to walk some of the sites over the past weekend. By way of background, it started off with you saying SciTech was the original engineer, which is true. Steve Giosa was the guy who came before this commission 3 or 4 years ago, and God bless Steve is retired now. And but it has been inherited by Nate and the team with Eric, who have Beals and Thompson who are working diligently on this project, both with the planning board and with this commission and with the various agents that we've had. So not only have they been through multiple engineers, not only am I the second lawyer involved, but the commission has changed, the agents have changed, and COVID has occurred. So the bottom line of the ask that's going to exist tonight then, as a result of the site plan permitting that was running in conjunction with it, as a result of COVID, as a result of a couple of the projects being impacted by abutters who were challenging access issues that you may be aware of or have heard of, we have not been able to proceed with all of the building that we want. In fact, 1 or 2 of the projects are presently in land court, and the title company is looking to reach an agreement with the neighbor to resolve that issue. all of that means the dog ate my homework, and I need a little bit of extra time in order to be able to make sure we do everything. And as you all know, some of the extra time was granted to us through COVID, so it gets us to where we're still not immediately against the deadline, but we asked and the engineers advised us that since we are still in negotiations with the town, and I spoke with the town administrator as recently as today with the fact that town council is actively negotiating with their litigation counsel to try to resolve all planning issues, all Concom issues. What is it that the town wants? What is it that the neighbors want? What is it that we can do? That requires us to have additional time to be able to resolve those and then build out the project. So I'm happy to take questions project by project, but I wanted to give you the overview to start with and have Nate be present as well to, to answer technical questions you might have. But in essence, what I'm asking for is an extension to give you my homework because of a bunch of those things that I just discussed. So I can go through project by project, because I think that's probably what you necessarily need to do the way the agenda is laid out. But if you want to talk broadly first, I'm happy to answer any questions or have Nate answer them. And I do believe that one of the project managers next to who lives 2 hours away hit traffic, and she said she gave herself 2.5 hours. It's going to take her 2:45, so she may be arriving. As is the case in most of my cases, she's younger and better looking than me, so she may know more about what's going on the ground. I think she actually walked the property on Saturday.
All right, yeah, we'll do one at a time, yeah. So we're on 1050 Main right now. Well, I was asked to come up with kind of a punch list of items that were, and I have. And we addressed them at the site visit pretty much. The entrance I saw was an issue initially. It seems to be working somewhat, but just some assurances that it's going to function properly,
Yeah.
is one of the main things. I know I talked to the chairman of the planning board. He said that was an issue for him as well. But we'll talk to him. And then the other issue was the basin in the back. The basin had water in it when we got there, and I guess the engineer was saying that they were working on coming up with a solution to that. And then if they can, then that's not right.
And I think it's excellent, and I got positive reports as well that the walkthrough went, there was a candid dialogue. And I think all those things may mean that we are presenting to you with like minor modifications or something down the road.
Right.
Tonight's request is simply the extension, but I hear you, they've heard you from the meeting, and Nate's taking notes because he's the one that can solve it, he's a smart engineer. All I know is that there's some issues near the road that were made aware of at one point. There were improvements that were made to try to address it. It has so far worked to what we understand over the past 9 months. There were a lot of issues a year to 2 years ago. We're not saying, I'm not here to represent to you that it's all done.
Right.
It's an open issue. We need time to resolve the issue. We need time to work with you, which is why we're looking for the extension.
Right. Anybody else? Comments?
Well, as far as the basin out back, he was saying that it's gonna have to be redesigned and re-engineered, is that correct?
Nate Bells, Fields and Thomas. So we're still, getting.
Nate, why don't you walk
Sure.
through so that you can see it?
So we're conducting on-the-ground survey of the area right now, currently to see, like water elevations compared to the basin to the wetland, make sure there's enough discrepancy in elevation. Ideally, full redesign, coming back in front of you guys is not the goal. It's kind of like making amendments to the basin here and there to make it work properly, so that's the goal right now.
That's got a 72-hour drainage.
Yes,
So we were there, how many weeks after the rain, and it was full of water?
yes. So then,
So I don't feel that an amendment is gonna handle that basement. That's my own personal opinion.
oh, yes. So, that's what we're currently working with contractor right now.
They're gonna do like a perk test or something similar before these basins get put in.
Soil samples. Yes, groundwater levels, that we can do that.
during the permitting process, they did soil testing. So they dug the test pits in order to pose a basin there.
How big are these test pits?
They're usually about like 8 feet deep, typical excavator.
About 1 bucket wide?
Yep. And I think it's 2 per stormwater basin according to the stormwater handbook.
Do you have any copies of those soils that came out of them? Pictures or anything?
I haven't seen any. I'm sure there's a file on it. We had, planning had the stormwater at the time. So, sure there's a file on it. We were off the
Yeah,
stormwater.
but still, I was wondering, it sounds like it's underwater table stuff.
I agree.
Underwater table, it's a big fix.
Right.
It's gonna have to be moved.
And that's what I'm saying, I don't feel that that's an amendment situation. An amendment is for something small and minor.
I totally get that, and that's gonna be, when we present something to you, if you say it's not an amendment, then it's your position, and we have to adapt to it. If it turns out that it can't be resolved by something that you believe, because you're the ultimate determiner whether or not it's gonna wipe the back, we recognize that. And in fairness, there's probably, we can't come in with something and demand that it be treated as an amendment if it's a major thing, as you're describing it ultimately. But ultimately, he has to have the data, and has to have a plan, and when he looks at the plan, figure out whether it's, and I get what you're saying, I don't see it happening. You know, you're losing at halftime by 40 points, I don't see it changing. But the Patriots won 28-3, so you never know, we'll have to see.
Yeah, you never know.
Right, but the thing is, so at hand here now, is they're looking for an extension on their current order conditions. If there are changes that are drastic that need to be made, then they can file an amended order conditions. And that will get recorded at the registry of deeds and all that other stuff. But right now, they're working on it, so they're looking for time to work on it. It's essentially what's going
How
on.
much time are you guys looking for on this project?
For the basin matter, or the entire construction?
Well, to get these problems that we have
Just so that you know, so we've asked on each of them to have 3 years to finish the entire, to build out the project and to have, to come back with a certificate of compliance. That's why we've asked for this time. We're not saying we need this amount of time. Some of the projects are close to being built out, and they'll be done by the 4th of July, with one of them at least.
Runs.
Right, but we're still asking for an extension on that one because, you know, if there's issues
See,
with
plan
development.
April 1st.
But that's what I'm saying, is what, we got 3 years, 1 year, right? What's an extension?
Typically, we extend it for 3 years.
Yeah, well, we could, if it's,
The other issue I had, even pulling in the road, it looked like that's a natural basin to the left of the road that was full of water.
there could be a little farm drain.
That's just his front yard. It holds water. It's a low spot. The road.
Well, a lot of the,
Well, when you pull in that road on the left-hand side, right where you guys were parked, there was water in there, right next to the road. So I just feel that, putting that road in took up a lot of square footage of natural draining. And that 12-inch pipe that's 30 foot further, closer to the road, that's 6 inches up, ain't helping that drain. Do you know what I mean? So I was just concerned, considering we haven't had rain for a couple of weeks, that there was water there, standing water there, and there was standing water in the basin. So that was my 2 concerns as that walkthrough. And then even as we went up through the road, I was asking about the riprap going through, and you said that, well, that was for water moving. I believe she was talking about that water being moved, but they were all clogged. So it's like, stuff like that can't be clogged and say, well, that's the purpose of that. When we were walking it, they were clogged solid. I mean, it was all full of small stone, crushed gravel. It didn't look like it was for it to tent, the way they looked. It looked like, okay, we had some big stone, and we just threw the big stone there. So I'm just telling you what I felt, what I saw when I walked in.
Yeah, and as far as the closer to the road, my understanding, not from this commission, but I did get involved in the planning board when they were in front of the planning board, and water had typically run down that street in a swale. And our understanding is the neighbor that is just down gradient from us filled in the area because it made her yard look nicer, which caused backup this way. And so we're trying to do what we can to address it as best we can. That's as limited amount as I understand the history. And from what is existing, what you saw compared to what existed 18 months ago, from what I understand, There were images that I saw at the planning board where it was going across the street and it was a major issue on the surface level, and that hasn't happened. Although I hear what you're saying, and all those issues we want to address, either if we're lucky with a modification or with an amendment.
I think we're getting, with the stuff near the road and stuff, I think that's gonna fall on the MS for, because like, people can, it's like, that's why Conoco's out right now. It's because of that situation, because by law, the town was draining water into people's property, but you can't unless they have written consent from the owner. And a lot of people didn't, they filled these in, which is not illegal. So that's, you can't, I don't know.
But when
if we
you
can
went on
put
that-
I don't
you
know
go up
what I'm
that
getting at
road-
is, I don't know if we can put that problem onto their,
But when you go up that road, Eric, it looks like a natural basin. It swoops down right up against the road that they put in, correct? It's like a little gully in there. And that had water in it. 2 weeks prior to any rain or anything, it's still holding standing water. And I feel putting that road in the way it is took up ground area that's taken away the natural drainage area. So whether it's from the neighbor's drainage or what it is, I feel that was a natural drainage area that's been taken away. And that's my opinion looking at it.
And I'm not here to dispute any of that, that's why there's an engineer who's doing the work. Again, so now there's basically 3 issues that you've raised and that we need to address, and whatever is presented to you as we go forward, we just need time to put together a plan and to talk with the folks.
how long do you think it will take you to do that stuff?
Do the work.
No, the job for them, figure out,
Well, just so that, I don't want to put a time frame on him because that's his job. I know that separate from that, we're talking with town council and with the town administrator about some other issues that relate to other parts of the project. We're hoping to try to resolve everything so that it minimizes things. So I don't want to speak when I don't have a good answer for you.
I understand, I just don't wanna see like what you've been having going on, with just, these things keep going on and on and on by the time, like you already said it, everybody's changed. So now you got a different commission, a different this, you never know what's gonna happen. So for me, I would like to try to keep it that we know is gonna be still us, and our, you know what I mean? I don't wanna see you in 3 years and then I'll forget all about the project again. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? I feel like they're just dragging them out. That's why I was asking about time frame, and maybe we can just do like, it's not like it's the biggest thing in the world to do a couple more dredges and figure out the water basin and stuff.
Right. So they did begin to do some of the testing after the meeting, or have a plan for it. Then he's got to go home and do the work. He's also having a similar conversation with the planning board. If we could give you something in 90 days that explains which direction that they're going to go in with these issues on this particular project, that at least gives us a target. Unless you guys are going away in 90 days, you'll hopefully be the same composition of the board, and you'll feel like we're moving the process forward. And we'll have a sense of it. It may not be the final plan, but it can at least be a report to you as to where it's going.
That's what,
When does it expire?
This one experienced tolling, right, because of COVID, this one.
Yeah, all of these expire either in late April or in May.
So, I said we should hold off the extension until we get paperwork from the 90 days, till you reevaluate.
a lot of us weren't there at the site visit either, I mean, we can get out there again.
I personally, I don't have an issue.
This one I think was different than the other files you had here.
I don't have an issue with extending this, because I mean, ultimately, if you guys can't get the basin to work, you're not gonna move forward, correct? So that's,
But they're not gonna, no, just what, so if that basin doesn't work, they're just gonna walk away from
No,
the
no,
project?
no. If that basin doesn't work, we come back and explain to you, we need to have an amendment to the order of conditions.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be a small,
No,
right, it's a whole
Right.
separate
So
file.
the amendment is just like
Right.
starting from scratch. It's,
That
that's,
could be a whole redesign of the whole site, it might be less panels, because it'll be less impervious surface. You know what I mean, it might, the whole site may change.
So we have April 1st, you're saying? We have a month and a half. So within a month and a half, you can't say we can look and redesign this and then come up to us and say, this is what we have, we think this will work, and then we can say, okay, let's extend it. I mean, we're extending something on something you're gonna go look for. That's my personal
I
opinion.
just don't see the rush if it's not gonna happen, like. I mean, opposite way, I just said that, but yeah.
I mean, you were saying that you want to get wetlands in there, to have it flagged, check the depth of the wetlands that are out there, then check yours, do all the elevations, everything else. Can't you do that within the next 2 meetings, not the February 28th, the one after it, and let us know where that basin lies?
So there also is a matter of, so planning board obviously has the same concerns. So we also need to bring them on board, make sure that they're okay with all the revisions too. So it's also coordinated between both boards, make sure both boards are happy.
Right.
But they have the same exact,
Yeah.
No, they don't have any,
that's
they
okay.
don't have wetland issues, they have issues.
That's what I'm getting at, right now I'm worried about wetland issues. I kind of agree with Joe.
So it's sent to us by April 22nd, 2024.
April 22nd? I'll make a motion to continue to, what date would that?
Stan, hold that motion. We're gonna go to the public. Anybody,
Oh, yeah.
anybody from the public want to comment?
Yeah, I was just looking for.
I understand that I live across the street from this solar system. And I've just installed my second sump pump because every time it rains, right now we get snow. As soon as the snow melts, my solar's gonna be loaded. I know it. And it has been, and it's getting, well, I've got pictures of the water actually going across that road. I mean, the water's gotta go somewhere. And I was told months ago that you guys were gonna put a pipe in, that was gonna divert that water back down to where it used to go. And the road was supposed to get moved. I'm not seeing any of this. I see trucks going up and down in there all the time. I see the other day a bulldozer going up and down. They're not doing anything for anybody. I got water, and like I say, it's gonna get worse. That road is doing nothing but stopping the water from going anywhere. And they put a pipe in, what, 30 feet up the road? There's just never even water up that high. But they put a pipe up there. And I remember talking to the engineer that was down there when they started putting in the road. I said, you put in a pipe? No, we got no plans for a pipe. A couple of weeks later, they put a pipe in. Way up. There's never even been water that far up. But they put a pipe in. What was that, just little peas everything? It didn't do anything. There's never gonna be any water. It's probably a home for some kind of animal right now. It's not gonna do anything to the water. I mean, granted, yeah, the guy that has that house, yeah, he did fill in the culvert, sure. But I was told you guys were gonna fix it. I don't see anything happening. All I see is water in my solar, and like I said, I just put in the second sump pump. I don't know.
Have you seen water going,
I've got pictures of this, that just the last rainstorm that it's going across that road. Excuse me, you got pictures by that way?
Just across the road that we built or across the road towards your house?
Across the road you built.
Right, but not
That's
across
how
the
bad.
main road. That's not-
No, it goes under, my house is lower than that. So that water goes underground to my house, which,
I didn't mean, I just, I wanted to speak that it was going across the main road, that's all.
that's what, that's the one thing, right, there's a water.
what's that?
That was just the last rainstorm. See the water there? And we didn't have a whole lot of rain, we had rain, heavy rain, but
Yeah, but it's, my concern is a lot of this might be coming off the road too.
no. Yeah, but wait, it used to go down,
No, but it's not.
it shouldn't be going in.
That's where it's,
That road, that right there, it's going across the road, that's coming over here.
All right.
alright, do you guys wanna look at these?
That's what, that's the other big relief. See the water going down? That's the water. That water's gotta go somewhere. My house is below grade.
Right,
So that water goes underground to my house.
but it's infiltrating, and that's,
But they put the pipe way the hell up there, about 50 feet up the road. There's never been water up there.
That's also within 4 feet, I mean, within 6 feet of the property line too. Yeah, that's town.
Sir, could we see those?
Sure.
That's where it comes into MS4 again, and more to do with this stuff that we got going on.
That's what it goes along to.
that's why I want to, we got to make a line about that.
They're all,
I'd like to continue, I would like to extend it so we can get this all along. The project has started.
The conspiracy.
First time doing that.
You're right, it's good. That's why I say, well, I mean, it's not gonna, it's not enough time frame. This is getting close. If their order of conditions expires, then that's all.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not the, this whole theory,
It's a water. This was done on last big rainfall here. On one night, we got snow. What's that snow? That's what it's supposed to
Just to address it, I appreciate you showing us that, and Nate appreciates you seeing it. Planning board did raise this issue because the neighbor was present at planning hearings, and although it wasn't given to you on November 14th, there's a 15-page report on, by putting in the pipe and making the adjustments, how it stopped the water from going over the road during the last 6 month to 9 month period. We can get you that report, which again was given to the planning board about 2 or 3 months ago, because they asked on this very issue, after this gentleman had raised it, about what had been done to address the concerns of what had happened to him historically. I think to the point that we're making as to why we're here is on asking for an extension is, have we tried to make substantial progress, or are we like some of the solar projects that got a permit and sat on it and didn't do anything for 4 years? I mean, which I know has happened is a concern with the planning board and some other people in town. I mean, they're making investments, they're trying to respond to the neighbors, and they're going through both of the boards. And again, I'm not here to say you're signing off on everything that sits in that. What I'm saying is we need time to address the issues, to find out whether they're minor modifications or they require a full amendment, and each of them needs to stand on its own. As we said, there's one that's almost done. This one may be the one that takes the longest to resolve, but we're just looking for the time to be able to say we don't have to start from scratch again with the investment that they've made in the town and things that they're trying to do. So that's all, again, I'm not asking for endorsement of the way that things sit today, I'm just asking for an extension so we can address issues.
So I do have a question. Is any of this in litigation with any of the butters?
Not in this particular, not this particular issue, there's an issue for the access on one of the back parcels.
Well, we'll address that when we get to it.
Right, correct, no, but just to answer the question, so this particular issue, the only way that this issue is narrowly in play is an argument that we have that says some of our overall delays were not your fault necessarily, but there was a conservation agent who was a little bit challenging for us to deal with, that is no longer here, that caused some delays when we made filings and made requests and issued cease and desist orders, things such as that, that could be litigated potentially. I'm not here to beat our chest, I'm not even a litigation attorney on it. So technically, we have a claim that suggests that person was doing things to delay us and undermine our ability to try to step in. And again, I don't want to badmouth anybody, but that is an allegation, so technically, this might be a part of that. We're trying to resolve everything, and we think we've made substantial progress with the town council and town administrator to resolve all of that. But now our focus is really on the technical issues and not on the litigation, and that's why we're here. We want time to address it. But as far as the abutter, it's not this abutter that's in litigation, it's some that relate to the road of access and who owns the road of access to get to some of the back projects.
My second thing, again, with this project is other projects in the past in this town. The cart is before the horse once again with this project. Site engineering, not even ready to even present this. This is like a complete redo with obviously the pictures that we've all viewed. The site itself, engineeringly, it's just it's not ready even for presentation to even, in my feeling, my view is to be at this point. Again, the cart is before the horse. I don't understand this. This should be site ready. If this project is ready, you know, we're moving forward. We shouldn't be having to make these decisions about, you know, the water flowing across the street, flooding the neighbors, and the elevation of this road, and, you know, these waters that are sitting still for a couple of weeks, that are holding water. These issues should have been resolved. This site should have been ready to go. Again, I don't have a good feeling about this. At this point, to come in here and make a decision based upon what I'm hearing is my point of view. And I think it, you know, it deserves, you know, another look at it for oversight.
Again, I'm just trying to reiterate the fact that we are not here for you to ask you to say you endorse the condition as it exists or the plan in the exact form that it exists. There were changes that were requested by both this board and the planning board at different times that have been tried to adapt over the years. And now there are things that exist when you build a project that the as-built is always slightly different. This may end up being too different. I'm not saying that that's not the case. I just don't want to derail this to start a whole process with a whole new beginning order of conditions rather than amendment, because there was public comment. They went through all of that process 3 or 4 years ago, and I've invested fairly substantially in the town. The fact that Giosa retired, the fact that we've gone through things, is not necessarily the client's fault. Some of it. I mean, some of it probably the client maybe could have been more careful. Some of it, the old conservation agent 2 or 3 ago could have been more careful. We're all where we are. It's like my parents looked at me when I was a teenager. They probably made mistakes before then. They had to deal with me as I existed then. And what we're looking for is the extension of time to basically deal with these issues so that we can come back before you to either file an amendment or to explain what the modification is and have you decide how you want to proceed. If you want us to come back in a month, I mean, come back in a month. I don't know that all these issues are going to be resolved. This gentleman, and, you know, with all due respect, I know he was really upset that the lady who filled in the culvert 10 years ago. That didn't help him. So he's here speaking his voice. We've heard from him. We're trying to do what we can to address it. But I'm not confident that if you give me until April 1st that I'm going to come in and you're going to be slam dang, everything's done. That's the reason that I'm saying we need an extension to try to address the issues. But
If I may, if planning board's recommendation for, you know, the pipe in the, you know, right of way running down the side of the street, that is a kind of timely process in terms of, you know, design, coordinating, DPW, getting everybody on board. So, yeah, that's the route of the solution that we're going. That's obviously going to take time. And obviously we want to come with concrete solutions to conservation.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we extend the extension of order of conditions for 3 years.
Can I just bring something up first, Jim? I just would like to let the commission know that the original order of conditions has the stormwater box not checked for stormwater requirement. So that would need to be an administrative correction. So they need to be aware that whatever ones you decide to extend, that process has to be done first on our end. And they would have to be responsible to refile it again with the registry of deeds. So just to let you know that. And also something that was brought to my attention is that the plans are under SciTech and they're no longer, as you mentioned.
yeah.
So there might be some formality with the certification, the stamp process on that, so just somebody let me know that.
Nate knows what that means. I was.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I'm just repeating what was told to me,
I
and
understand.
when they looked at the plans and what's on the order is different. It's gonna be, you know, I don't know how much it made a change or what that means, but just to let you
Yeah,
know.
if I'm understanding correctly, so the extension would be under the permit plans, wasn't proof of permitting. And that's when, after everything's built, as-bilt's done, that's when we submit, our as-built redesign markups showing compliance with the permit plans for you guys to review, so. We'd still be, the extension would still be for the permit plans, or just the construction engineers to get
Right.
the construction.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? No abstained, so motion passes, right? 3-1, 3-2-1.
Two no.
No.
2 no,
Yeah, I did, I think you.
1 abstention?
You wanted to do the extension, I think, or not?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Ryan,
Brian's a yes, Everett's a yes, Heidi's a yes.
we got 6. I think it has to be a majority.
It's a majority, yes. Okay,
I think you have to have a majority.
it's 3-2-1. Eric abstained. Did you abstain?
Yeah, I understand.
You abstained.
Oh, well, no, I don't want the extension, I might use the wrong term. I think 3 years is too long right now. I think there's some more stuff. Should not abstain, more stuff. What I'm looking for. No?
What's the final vote, please? Can you please do it again?
It's 3 yeses, 3 noes.
That's not a majority.
No.
I thought he said abstain.
I did, I used the wrong terminology.
If issued by the Conservation Commission, the extension permit shall be signed by majority of the commission.
Okay. So is that even
I'm
time?
gonna challenge it, I don't think Ryan can vote.
This is just,
You should bring it up at our next meeting. Ask that. The extension a second again.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd ask that there be an alternative motion to have reconsideration at either a future meeting. If there's something that, it seemed to indicate that at least one or more of the people who voted no were not against the concept, they were against the concept tonight. My concern is if we leave with a request for an extension now, that's turned down, then we would not be able to revisit this issue between now and the end. Or the alternative, if you felt 3 years was too long for the extension, if you wanted to consider an alternative motion. I'm not telling you, it's your job.
No, I'm concerned about the stormwater permit, especially now that she said that, all the water flow, the water in the front. There's just so many questions, I think we need a little time to just get some of these answers, so.
Which, Ryan, with the memo that we issued planning board, so that's like a 15-page report summarizing all that, the tributary runoff area, the design calculations that were done for that front entrance. So it sounds like a lot of your questions have been answered, so which I'd be happy to provide you.
So I guess, again, it's your show, so you guys can run it, but the question would be, would the board consider an alternative? If the concern is 3 years, would they do 1 year at this time? Or whether they would rather, on this particular project, have us come back at a later date to consider it when they've had the benefit of additional reports and information? Just so that it doesn't come across that we've asked for an extension, it's rejected, and you're not allowed to come back. That's the point that I'm trying to make, as a procedural matter in the Robert's Rules of Orders. We came here in good faith, not trying to shut it down, you throw it, we had to take it, we're listening to you, we just don't want it to block things out. So if you're open to either of those things, we'll follow whatever your instructions.
Right. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to put this on the next agenda and to have everybody in the commission look at this and reconsider 1058 Street.
Do we want to skip one, Ryan?
Yeah, that's what I was just
Instead of doing the February 28th, go to the next one and give you a little time maybe to get the botanist in at your, get some elevation shot at your basin and maybe fill us a little more information. And then it's not a straight shoot down, it's actually, that's what I was talking about earlier, saying we do have time before your permit expires.
Yeah,
So what's the next?
March 13th.
March
What would be the
13th?
one right before it expires?
There's March 13th, March 27th, and April 10th.
Just
So,
to the extent I can, I know sometimes board commission, someone could be sick. I would rather not go all the way till the end, because if you end up
Oh, I
having
get what
cancer.
you're saying.
You might not have a quorum.
Right, and then you won't be able to do it, so I prefer.
Probably March 13th.
Okay, so, all right, let me amend that. I'll entertain a motion to put this on the agenda for the March 13th meeting to reconsider 1050 Main Street, order of condition extension.
second.
So, you got a motion?
Yeah, motion. Let's see if it's a motion.
All right, motion by Eric,
Motion, yeah.
seconded by Heidi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, that's unanimous. All right. Next item.
Brian, quick question. Do you have to amend the vote? You guys vote?
Yeah, let's just
You have to
rescind
amend
that
that?
vote. Let's just rescind that vote there. That's the first vote.
Good call, thank you. All right. So am I gonna make a motion to rescind that vote?
Yes.
Yes, make a motion.
Well, I'll entertain a motion to rescind that vote.
So moved.
Kevin, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right.
And what's the date on that again? I'm sorry.
March 13th.
March 13th.
I just want to write it down.
Yeah, we have the problems if I go down there one day. I just wanted to have luxury to get down there.
I mean, talk to her, she can make sure you get there and get access if there's a gate or anything.
If you let me know, I can have someone meet you there at the store deal.
Okay, that's cool.
Because it's actually, as you know, it's not really our property, we have
Yeah.
someone that, so.
All right.
Well, can we do another, we didn't have,
A lot of people.
I think-
3 of our new commission members were not there. So if we do another site visit before the 13th, just so the new members can see it, would that be an issue? The Saturday before the 13th?
I'll write that down, that shouldn't be a problem.
And then this way here, our new commission members can see the site also?
So that you know too, if you, as long as it's less than a quorum, people can go without it being a public meeting. But if you have enough of you here, you gotta post it, there's a lot of things that make her have to do work. So I'm just, if you wanna just go out informally, Jennifer could make it happen at your convenient schedules, or if you wanna go as a group, just be aware of that on the public meeting stuff. If you get to a quorum, you gotta publicly notify everybody. You know what I'm saying? I think you know what I'm talking about.
And I'd like to throw in there contingent upon weather, obviously. If we have a foot plus of snow, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm not going.
I'm
It's a long drive.
So,
It's 2 hours.
tentative March 9th.
March 9th for the
That's
site
what we
visit.
do.
Yeah, yeah, that's much better.
Okay.
And
Next
Christian will be
item.
back too.
Extension of order of conditions, Woodbridge Renewals LLC, 1052 Main Street, SE file number 0010561, property owner Nancy Brito Kitchen. A request for an extension of an order of conditions was filed, SE file number 0010561, Woodbridge Renewals LLC, for property located at 1052 Main Street, map 7, lot 23. The applicant proposes to construct a large-scale solar project, 1 megawatt, located at 1052 Main Street within the 100-foot buffer zone of watered and vegetated wetland. The applicant is represented by Eric Glass of Gales and Thomas. Plain name is Woodbridge Renewables LLC, 1 megawatt AC array in Acushnet, Massachusetts, dated September 1st, 2020. Review matters presented, votes may be taken.
I think this one might be easier, but I don't know for sure. I believe that this was one that had some access issues on title, but it didn't have any Conservation Commission major concerns with the walkthrough. But that's what was reported to me, but I wasn't there on Saturday. So if anybody has a question, we can try to answer it technically. If not, if we get this extension, once we have the title issues resolved, we'll be able to build out the project.
Well, I have the 2 mats that were put in. On your plans, it shows a culvert, right? So you got 2 mats that are put over that little area that you guys say you're gonna put a culvert in. I think the culvert should be put in before we start accessing it.
Agreed.
So, I mean, the mat would be taken out and the culvert would be put in.
As soon as we're allowed to construct the access from Cushing Lane into the property, we plan to install the culvert. We were not allowed to do that construction, which is why the mats were there. So as soon as we're allowed to, we plan to remove the mats and begin forming.
And the allowance is getting access, because the neighbors are saying they own the road and we can't go up the road to get in there to do the work.
So is this in litigation?
That, I'm sorry, that, I apologize for that. Thank you, Jan, I'm sorry. That is, I'm not the attorney involved in the case, but yes, there's land court litigation involving who actually owns the road. It's based on the historical use. But it is something which, in addition to proceeding the litigation, they are trying to negotiate a resolution.
So if this is in litigation, we shouldn't even be discussing this.
The question of who owns the road is what's in litigation, not whether or not, the question is because it's in litigation, we can't build. And we're here to ask you permission to extend it until litigation is resolved. So I'm not asking you to decide who owns the road or anything that relates to litigation. All I'm using it for is an explanation of why we can't build it and why we need the extra time. So I'm not trying to negotiate with you and tell you we're right or they're right. I'm just trying to say we need extra time, and the reason is that it's in litigation over whether we can get there to put in a culvert and get rid of the mats.
Okay, so if, once the litigation goes through, you guys are gonna go through as long as we extend it, but that culvert will be put in first. Is that whole road gonna be put in, so all the mats will be taken up?
Yes.
A nice gravel road will be put in, make sure it has tire wash, everything else areas, and
Yep, we're gonna do the rip wrap to kind of knock all the mud off the tires, just like the standard access roads. It'll be a full gravel lot, not lot, but the access road will be gravel, all the CDs will be installed. If you wanna make sure the culvert is installed before construction begins, I can certainly put that as an action item for my contractor as soon as we can start.
and then the first culvert going in right off of Cushion Lane, is that gonna be put in a little bit better? Yeah.
Yes, that was put in by a previous contractor that we've since severed ties with. But again, we had a cease and desist issue, we couldn't touch anything, so fixing that culvert is top of our list.
And are you gonna build it the same way as the one on the plans for the other end, like kind of with the rip wrap, everything else?
Yes.
So,
Typical construction.
yep, just making sure.
I don't have any issues with this project at all. Is there anybody from the public that has concerns, questions regarding this project? Okay, any motion? Continue. Extend it.
Want a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year?
Yeah, typically we extend it for 3 years. Okay, Eric made the motion, is a second by Heidi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay, that's unanimous. All right. Next item. Extension of order conditions, Cushing Solar LLC, Cushing Lane, SE file number 0010562. Property owner White's Farm Incorporated. A request for an extension of an order of conditions is filed for SE file number 0010562, Cushing Solar LLC, for property located on Cushing Lane, map 7, lot 26. The applicant proposes to construct a large-scale solar project, 2 megawatt, on a portion of Cushing Lane field property within the 100-foot buffer zone of the water drain vegetated wetland. Excuse me. The applicant is represented by Eric Glass of Fields and Thomas Incorporated. Plan name is Cushing Solar LLC, 2 megawatt AC in Acushnet, Mass, dated January 11, 2021. Review matters presented, votes may be taken. This is the first one going into the Woodbridge site.
So just, I know you will have more comments on this one than you did on Woodbridge, but again, this one is the same exact, we can't go in and do anything because we can't get permission from the owners to say that we have the legal right to get in there to do any of the work that we've been doing, we've wanted to do. So as far as what the pending litigation is and access, in addition to the other things that happen on the main roads, the access issue is still in dispute on Woodbridge and Cushing. We can answer other questions that you may have on that.
Right. So we conducted the site visit on Saturday, and my biggest concern is the ditch that runs through the center of the site. So when when we went to the site in 2021, there was 3 feet of snow on the ground. The plan just says ditch will be filled with stone, so, okay, but, you know, looking at the plan, it's a field, we didn't know there was any water in there. Or whatever that ditch is. And then after conducting 2 site visits there, that remains a concern to me. I don't know what it is. It could have been man-made, probably was man-made. But now my concern is it a functioning, some sort of wetland area? Is it an intermittent stream? Is it some sort of drainage that's functioning from somewhere else that tied into it? I don't know what it is. That's my only concern with that.
So we went once again, a couple weeks, no rain, there was still water movement there, there was water in it. I don't feel that that ditch should be just filled in with loam and then seeded over, that's my own personal opinion. I feel that someone should go look at that, a botanist should go look at that ditch, reevaluate it, and go that route. I don't feel that filling that in is the proper way to go. Whether it was man-made or not, 60 years ago, it doesn't matter, it became something. And now to just take that out would really affect maybe stormwater, it could be wetland, it could, I think that's gotta be reevaluated, that ditch.
And generally speaking, again, the question for tonight is just that we have the extra time to figure out these issues, not do you agree with what we've said. I think there's really 2 questions, so this to be fair and just candid to the board. One question is, if it was a ditch that was man-made and done as part of farming and was used for a period of years, does it get treated differently under the regulations? And that's really not a botanist question, it's a question about what the board decided and what was presented at the time versus, a man-made swimming pool that existed for 50 years could not necessarily be a wetland if someone had allowed natural water to make it a little pond. I'm not here to opine, I'm not going to say I'm an expert on it. There's 2 parts to the question. The first is a legal question, and the second is a botanist question. We need to figure that out on our end, and we need to come to you and speak to you about it. But that's what we're looking for, is the time to deal with that issue. And rather than saying, I'm definitely going to have someone there on Tuesday, I got to figure out whether that makes sense and whether that's the direction that is fair and equitable to everybody involved in this, including the landowner who ran a farm there undoubtedly for many years, who would like to have this project go forward because he's not farming.
We can see that the state in the wetland, the definition that you can't create a wetland. It has to be natural.
But I don't know if it was being dug. I mean, I look at it and say, I don't know. You can't see dirt on either side of it. Usually a lot of the man-made ditches back then on farms went from high ground to the low ground in the center and put the ditch in the middle for irrigation of the fields or for even for cows to drink out of. This here was not. It's not like on a high end going to the low end further away from it. Usually they used to pitch them to the middle of the ditch when they did the man-made ditches.
Yeah, so, I mean, is it something you guys would consider looking at?
I think the answer is I need to talk to the clients. I was aware this might be an issue after you walked through, and it was explained to me by the lawyer who's involved in the litigation piece of it, that it was our understanding that this was we're borrowing, we're going to lease it from a farmer. The farmer has indicated to us that that's what its purpose was and what it was used for. Now, I'm not here to testify the way they dug the hole, when he used it, how we used it, what it was for. That's for us to prove or establish. I think it's an issue we need to address. The question is, do we address it with the history or do we address it with flags? And I don't want to promise to the board either direction. But I want you to be aware that the reason that we're trying to do this is we want to basically, we've invested money, assuming that it had been treated as a ditch, and now there's a fully built plan that they spent a lot of money on, and before we have to rework it. This, I would agree, if you have to redo this and this becomes a wetland, this entire project needs to be.
Well, it's moving water too. It wasn't standing still. So that's what raised a concern to us. As being on the Conservation Commission, we went there and looked at this ditch and said, there's an issue. It's moving water. We actually followed it quite a ways down, I didn't even get to the end of it. And so to me, that's an issue of the Conservation Commission, that's what we're here for, is to look at things like that. Not to say, well, okay, you know, we got a lot of money spent into it, we got a lot of time, and that, I hate to say this, but even to talk to an attorney about it, I mean, we should be talking to the engineers regarding this, saying, what do we feel we could do with it?
I understand, let me, maybe if I was inartful in what I said.
I'm not an attorney, so the way you're talking to me is, I'm a little bit nervous about it,
Yeah.
because I feel I should be talking to the engineer about a ditch that we walked through and saw. You weren't out there with us on Saturday, and I don't hold that against you, but you was not.
No,
So the engineer, and I forgot your name, I'm so sorry,
Jennifer.
Jennifer, we were out there all together, we all walked it, we tried to find the end of this moving water, and we couldn't. We couldn't find the end of it. I even got a pricker in my eye.
Hey, now.
Yeah, I did, right on the side, it hurt like hell too.
You have to get safety glasses next time instead of regular glasses. But I'm not here to say we're right legally. I'm here to say it can be a legal question. Sometimes on the way the regulations, as you talked about, what the rights are on the road versus on the road. I don't know all the regulations off the top of my head. I am aware that there are some things that if it's artificially man-made and we can establish it, that is an exemption of certain things. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying we won't address it, we're going to address it. And we're going to present something to you to explain our position. All we're looking for is time to develop that data and give it to you.
When does this one expire, Joanne?
It is the stormwater box.
Mid-May.
What about the stormwater box? Is that one?
They're all before that, before you tonight have the prior agent, before this last one, the prior agent before that, did not have me check the stormwater box. So all that needs to be corrected first.
And just,
I'm sure they're
our
willing to
records
have
say
it
May
fixed.
3rd, just so you know, because you said midnight.
Yeah, I'm just reading
But I
what-
could be wrong.
I'm just reading what the cover page from Beals and Thomas, so I have the file if you want to know the exact date.
No,
but-
just, it's earlier, I just don't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
And this site specifically, Cushing, does not have any stormwater BOPs.
Excuse me, you said that again, I'm sorry.
This site, Cushing Solar, does not have any stormwater BOPs as part of the permit.
Right.
There's no stormwater there, right?
There has to be, there's a little bit of hassle, but
Pretty sure there is.
There's no basin, I don't think, right?
No, nothing, no stormwater BOPs during the permitting process. Yeah, no basin, no,
yeah, there's no stormwater.
yeah.
So it's just kind of, that's,
Right. Anybody from the public want to comment on this one? Okay. Oh. Hey. All right, well, I'll entertain a motion to continue this until March 13th as well. Just,
Second.
no,
Oh, you make the motion?
are you making that motion?
I'll make the motion for it. I keep forgetting. you
I'll
can't
second
make the
that.
motion.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear till the date.
March 13th.
March 13th, so this will go on the same agenda as well. Okay, there's a motion by Eric, second by Heidi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry.
That's all right.
March 13th?
All right, that's unanimous, so this will be on the March 13th agenda.
Yeah.
I think, what did?
Okay, next item.
Can I ask one question? So what are you expecting us to come back with for that March 13th?
Well, she just handed me something from Stormwater, so I kind of want to read that. So that's more on my end for that. And I figured, we're not going to have you come to the next meeting. If you come to, we can do it the same way. That was my reasoning behind that date for that one.
Now, would you guys be willing to put a botanist over there before the 13th?
My marching orders were, we need to resolve both issues, whether it's a legal issue or whether it's a botanist issue. If we decide that it's a botanist issue, I'm not against doing it before March 13th. I don't know, and I don't want to make a commitment to you that I don't live up to. So I have to keep my options open, and we'll present to you March 13th one way or another. And if we're able to get a botanist out there before then, and that's the direction we go, that'll be what's
Yeah,
presented.
we're not asking you to get a botanist out there.
But just know, it's a possibility, I'm not denying it, I'm just saying, I'm not committing to it.
Right. All right. Extension of order conditions, Robinson Road Solar LLC, Robinson Road, SE file number 0010564, property owner Robert Gilmore Jr. A request for an extension to an existing order of conditions was filed for SE file number 0010564, Robinson Road Solar LLC, for property located at Robinson Road, map 7, lot 7. The applicant proposes to construct a 1 megawatt solar array within an existing open field along with battery storage, fencing, access drive, and temporary erosion control measures. Within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland, the applicant is represented by Eric Lassen, Gilson Thomas. Plan name is Robinson Road Solar LLC, 1 megawatt AC solar array, and official gas dated April 26, 2021. Review matter presented votes may be taken. Again, we did a site visit. I actually had driven by there the day before the site visit when it was full production mode. There's a bunch of crews out there installing the foundation for the solar array. I noticed that the erosion control was in great condition. It was kind of a wet day, I believe, and there was a little bit of mud on the road. But other than that, I didn't see any issues with that site. The next day, I had brought that up. I said, hey, I drove by yesterday. Everything looked good, minus a little bit of mud on the road, and instantly they were out there and they addressed the issue. The site looks good.
Did they put the gravel down, Jennifer?
I believe they have, I can double check.
But that one there, the most, the reason you're extending it just for the business planting, correct? Yeah. Because you might
Yes.
not get the plants in. You might, I think this year you don't know about it.
I'm
Just
hoping
in case you
to,
don't.
yeah, the order of conditions says we can't plant until May 1st, but the order of conditions expires on May 14th, so there's upwards of 200 plants that have to go in. We don't have a whole lot of time to get those in. We also have to install a fence, so kind of playing those games, and if there's any type of delay in construction, we're right up against the deadline. So we're just looking for a little extra time just in case.
I think in reality, when it's done, you have to do an as-built, we gotta come back to you guys, so I just don't, we forget the extra time, the work's done, then we come in with
Are
you.
you looking for a 1, 2 year?
Just to cover ourselves, we put 3 years, because we know that's what you usually did, but
Yeah,
obviously.
we always go with the extensions. Good. I think the site looks great. It's in full production. Anybody from the public, comments on this? Nope. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to issue an extension on the order of conditions.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous.
3-year.
3-year extension.
Thank you for your time this evening and for your guidance and direction.
Thanks, guys. Okay, next item, discussion. 12 Map Woods Road, possible wetland violation, review matters presented, votes may be taken. For the record,
For the record, Carlos Whitney was the one last results, the hires. It's okay, I mean, like, appreciate the email.
Yep.
Chairman, Chairman, Steve, I have a copy of the plan too that I can put on this.
I shared the email with the commission, not my response to you, but just your initial email. So,
I'll just walk through for the record, just so that everybody knows where we're at and the history of the project.
No, he's there.
close to you here. That's all right. Yeah, closer the better. So first off, I'll start off saying we acknowledge that there's some work to do here to coordinate with the Conservation Commission here, as well as the voice of the stormwater, and there's some questions on what was done, what was installed, what should be done, what still needs to be done. So hopefully we can come to some sort of agreement here, or at least move that forward on the discussion here. But just to walk through the overall process, Mr. Myers started this process back in 2015, so it's been a while. The house has been under development. There was some issues to work out with an abutter along the way that didn't relate to Conservation Commission issues and related to a property issue, which delayed the project a little bit at the beginning. Ultimately, that was resolved, and then the permitting and all the way started soon thereafter. So along the way, so just back in history, we submitted a plan for RDA. This name comes up again. He was involved in that project back in 2016 through SciTech. So I worked at CDC, we acquired SciTech a few years ago, so we're taking over the project. Working with Mr. Myers, we brought us to speed on the history, on how we are, where we are today. So the RDA was issued, a negative determination was issued by the Conservation Commission at the time. The conservation agent was Mary, who's not with us in the town anymore, she's in the town, but heavily involved in that process as well. So the negative determination was issued based on a plan that was submitted in 2015. It's slightly different from what we have in front of us today, so we acknowledge that the plan ultimately that got approved by other boards and building permits were issued for is different from the plan from 2015 in a few small ways. Ultimately, after the negative determination was issued, the design was advanced. After the issue with the abutter got resolved, it was coordinated with the conservation agent at the time along the way. In between then and now, the request for determination, or the negative determination, 3-year window did expire. So at that point, that determination did end, but we had continued conservation or coordination with the conservation agent over the duration of the overall project development. So involving her as part of that process really was as a project design evolved and advanced. Ultimately, the zoning approval was granted by the Board of Appeals for the project. That process was completed. There was some coordination with conservation agent at that time as the Board of Health and the Board of Other applications were being prepared and getting ready to submit. And some of the comments that she wanted to see was that she wanted to see some sort of demarcation closer to the wetlands line that showed essentially where the limit of travel or future expansion might extend to. So they didn't want somebody in the future to buy the house and continue expanding into the wetlands. So some sort of a physical demarcation that would help provide some sort of visual barrier there. So based on that, Mr. Myers included, there was this stone slope that was placed along the edge of the wetland. So that was modified from the original plan as a one-to-one slope of the stone wetland intended to provide that visual barrier based on that comment. One of the other comments was to include some stormwater infiltration as part of the project. The original RDA plan didn't include any of that. I think primarily just identified along the way that some element of that should be incorporated into the project. So based on that, Mr. Myers working with the civil engineers working with at the time, designed a stormwater infiltration system that would capture the 1-1 storm event, which is consistent with the volume that's required under the stormwater regulations. So as part of that, there's some recharge system design and incorporated into the backyard to provide that recharge. And that was also incorporated based on the comments from the Conservation Commission over the project being designed. That plan, which is this plan here in 2021, was submitted to the Board of Health for review and approval. As part of that process, the conservation agent did have to formally review it, actually signed the Board of Health approval, indicating she had reviewed it, had no issues with it, as did the building inspector and the Board of Health as well. So while we acknowledge that the Conservation Commission didn't see these plans along the way, the conservation agent, as the town's representative, was looking out for performance with the bylaw and wetlands protection regulations. Presumably, if there's anything that would have been needed to be pursued with the Conservation Commission, and she had indicated that we needed to come back from the board, we certainly would have done so at the time. But again, the comments were mostly around that edge and defining what that edge was. and includes some choice of already charging. That's too soft. And that's noted on the applications and that's part of the information we provide. While the Board of Health application was going through, we also continued discussions with Division of Fish and Wildlife. Because it was a natural heritage area, we had to go through that process and get a determination of no take. Ultimately, the limits of the work shown on that plan that was submitted to them were revised and approved that were consistent with the 2021 plans as well. So modifying what was shown as the limit of work for natural heritage was coordinated, reviewed, and approved. That plan was part of the package also that was sent. That was also recorded with the Registry of Deeds, which we're required to do, so that's part of the record. Conservation agent, also part of that communication, she was on email chains and was providing all that material along the way as the project design was being developed. Then the building permit, again, same plans used for Board of Health were included as part of the building permit application. Again, that went through, reviewed by a number of different boards and town departments. Again, no comments were made or we weren't indicated that we should be pursuing any additional permits. So that building permit was issued, and based on everything the owner knew at the time and felt that they had done, the project proceeded with construction. Nobody had identified that we needed to come back in front of the board or needed to come back and get additional permits as related to the stormwater permits. So for all intents and purposes, we believe the permitting was done and the construction started moving forward. We understand that recently, while the septic installed into the town to renew their license, they stopped by to just have a conversation with the conservation guest, and it was identified that the plan that they were building wasn't consistent with the 2015 RDA plan. We fully acknowledge that. The issue, I guess, that we have from our point of view is that we believe all the permitting was done and it was reviewed, it was coordinated with the conservation agent, all the boards on multiple occasions between the Board of Health application, building permit, had an opportunity to review it and signed off on the applications that we have, which includes sign offs by the conservation agent.
For the septic, correct?
For the septic, yeah, there was a
Correct. So I talked to him, and he said he got up, looked at, walked over to our file, picked up that plan, and signed off on that plan for the septic system. That septic system is not next to the wetlands or anything. So that's what the agent signed off for. And the plan that you have up there right now is not even built on site right now. That plan doesn't match what's on site.
This is closer to what's being built.
It's closer, but it's not. You got another whole stone wall as soon as you come in on the left. That stone wall wraps that whole property. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm not disputing that
Yeah.
what's being constructed isn't exactly what's on this plan. There's minor modifications that are being coordinated and being incorporated into the project design. I agree that what's shown there is a riprap slope that stops along that edge.
It's not a riprap slope, it's a stone wall, and then it drops to another stone wall, and then there's a road on the outside of the stone wall that they used to build the stone wall. I was the one that went on the site, and I looked at it with Nelson. And when I walked out there, it's not even what's on this, you don't even show a double stone wall there.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying, is this plan shows that riprap slope. The stone wall placed there is in approximately the same location along this edge.
But there's
You're
two
right,
stone
it
walls.
does-
Yeah, there's a
does
double
wrap
stone
around
wall.
the edge.
And then there's a road on the outside of that road that's in the wetlands that was used to build that stone wall, all within the 50-foot buffer zone, because I went back and I read all this.
Yep.
And exactly, if you look at the original RDA, it said that it's going to be a 3-to-1 slope so grass can hold, right? That's what it says. Okay, on the original RDA, it says a 3-to-1 slope. It says nothing would be done within the 50-foot buffer zone on the original RDA application, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so that all got changed, but never came to the Conservation Commission.
Yeah, and I hope you appreciate that we were coordinated with the conservation agent along the way, and she had no issues with what was being done and didn't ask us to come back in front of the board, which we happily would have done if it had been suggested that we did so. And our position was that as the representative for the commission, that
But
she
even the
would
plans
have-
you're showing us is not an updated plan. You guys went way beyond what those plans say. That stone wall wraps the whole property now, so you're showing us plans that don't even exist out there.
Yeah, no, I'm showing you the 2021 plan, that was the Board of Health plan.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you guys didn't even build it according to that plan. You guys went beyond that plan, so is there a new plan that shows the stone wall wrapped around the whole property?
We don't currently have a plan, and I think that's what we want to hopefully come to agreement here too, is what we do to make you comfortable with what's being done. I agree that this plan is from 2021, it's slightly different than what's being built out there.
So I talked with National Heritage, because of course I made a phone call, I talked to Emily Boyd.
Yep.
And her suggestion is to fill out a WPA 9 form with a new notice of intent to be filed within 3 weeks, and come in front of the stormwater. That stone wall alone needs a stormwater permit. And I feel that this is what the commission should do.
Yeah, no, I recognize that the triggers for the bylaws are written, this project will be subject to the stormwater regulations. Again, had we known at the time that that was a requirement, had somebody asked us to do it, we would have done it. And I think that's what we're here to talk about.
Well, on the original plan, on all the plans, even, I was reading some of Marilee's responses, that the stormwater was not needed because you're not intruding the wetlands, you're staying 50 feet away from the buffer zone. So I was doing the reading, and a lot of the things that she was saying makes a lot of sense, but when you look at that, it's totally different even from what I think she was looking at, because it doesn't mention the stone walls, it mentions a 3-to-1 slope, so the grass will take, a natural 3-to-1 slope. Nowhere's close to the 50-foot buffer zone. It's exactly what's within her paperwork. No, not intruding the 50-foot buffer zone. Right there in the corner of that, how far are you from the buffer zone? 25 feet?
It's about 35 feet, yep.
Yeah.
And this is the plan, that was the Board of Health plan that Mary did see this. plan.
All for the septic, which is what she looked at, for the septic. So let's just get that right, because the Board of Health goes there for the septic. That's what the Board of Health goes there for. So it's for the septic. But what I'm saying is, even the plans that you submitted there, the site is totally different than those plans. So,
Yeah, no, in respect to that, I would argue that it's not totally different. There are.
so when I was there the other day, it don't look like that.
Hold on a second.
They denied access on this one.
Yes, they denied his access.
I didn't say denied us, he said he wanted to, I spoke with him on the phone, and he said, I'm gonna compile all the documents that I have, I'll present it to your commission, and then we want to know the best way to move forward with this. That's how it was presented to me, and I agreed with him, I said, that's right. Because, I'll be honest, you guys could, well, a cease and desist can be issued. I'm not putting my name on something I don't see with my own eyes. They're here to talk to us, they acknowledge that, we're gonna work through this, so that's how we're gonna proceed, you know what I mean? Because I want to see it with my own eyes. I read the documents that were sent to us, and I gave my recommendations already, and I will tell you guys what my recommendations are once he's done presenting this to us. That's what I stand on it right now.
Yes, thank you, and I think just in response to your question or your comment there about the differences on the plan, we acknowledge that there are some differences. I would dispute that what's being constructed is substantially different from this. There are some changes to the geometry of the edge condition, whether it's a stone wall.
You don't mind?
Yeah. And we acknowledge that a site walk is warranted, right? And we'll be working with the Conservation Commission, so we're happy to facilitate a site walk to your point. We just wanted to put it in the commission.
30 feet to your ridge. Should be a
Yeah.
legend on the bottom.
So just so the commission knows, the stone wall comes around and comes all the way down right to here. Is where that stone wall comes.
Yeah, and at the edge, it's, half a stone exposed, so it might be, a foot tall at that point. And it's largely based on the material that was excavated and found on the site, we found a place to put it. So it's not needed for special earth retention, it's not being done for any sort of special reason for improving the lot any differently than what the intent of the original plan was. I think the intent is the same, there are some differences.
Unfortunately, though, if that wall, half miles right now, that would change that whole project.
Again, that wall might be a foot tall at the
Yeah,
edge.
but in the bylaws, it's over 4 foot long.
Yeah, but on that corner, it's 6 feet high.
Yeah, that's what,
Yeah.
that's what triggers a stormwater plan, yes.
Right? Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
after that,
that would change a lot.
And I'll agree that there is a wall there. Yeah, for sure. There's a stone stepped earth retention system there. So basically, it is 6 to 7 feet tall there, but that's as tall as the riprap slope is going to be. So it's mostly for aesthetic reasons. Instead of leaving dump riprap on a 1-1 slope, installed a boulder wall, basically, that's in 2 steps that are 3 to 4 feet tall, which achieves the same result. It's in the same location, it's just a different way to achieve the grading in the backyard that looks a little bit better than the edge.
So, this isn't, nothing's been filed, we're going to discuss how we're going to proceed.
Yeah, and now should we need to do something? I guess the question is what the something is. So I just do yeah, and I would respectfully ask whatever it is, if there's enforcement action or if you want to issue some sort of a letter that advises on the steps moving forward or what you'd like to see. The one thing that we would want to see to make sure that we're aware of in this progress on the project is that we don't want the backyard to be exposed for too long. As soon as you walked it, it's an active construction site, so we would want, if anything else, if there was some sort of direction for steps forward, then we would stop work and leave the backyard as it currently is. As we get into spring and as the weather changes, we'd rather stabilize that, so if there's any sort of direction, instead of leaving it completely exposed, we'd rather just mow and seed it and stabilize it and get it in a place where it's a little
You
bit
might have to
more.
rip that all up again.
I'm gonna make a motion that we go with WPA 9 with a new notice of intent, with applying for a stormwater permit and a site visit. That's what the motion I'm gonna make.
I'll second that.
I really want to see this.
All right, I have slightly different, similar but different, but, there's a motion.
We didn't ask no questions.
Yeah,
Does Mr. Pius? Did you want to speak?
Sure.
yeah, hold that motion, we didn't give the public a chance to talk. I'd like to speak on it.
My name is Bruno Myers, of the property owner. This whole home building situation has been very stressful. Since the beginning, like as Carla said, with a neighbor, I've been trying to make sure that I facilitated everyone during the process, between Jim at the time, between Merrill Lee at the time, submitted all documents, reviewed things with him multiple times. I remember meeting Merrill Lee in the back of my truck, going over this exact plan with a mask on. Everything was provided to her. I really, we bought this property back in 2015, actually probably the end of 14. My son wasn't born yet. The intent was to build this house. Because of the neighbor, it dragged on, I'd say about 5, 6 years, and costs substantially skyrocketed since then. I've been trying to build this house now because the neighbor issue has gone away. True, now I have 3 kids. One of the reasons, obviously, that we had an updated plan too is this had to change from a 4 to a 5 bedroom because they have another kid. So this whole process of the stone wall was, we had boulders on site from the excavation. And with reviewing Merrill Lee, I said, Merrill Lee, can I use these stone boulders as a wall? She agreed. She said, yeah, that'll be great. That'll be, at least like that, they'll have a warning that, oh, wetlands are approaching. I said, okay, that's what we'll do, that's what we presented on the drawing. In the meantime, we ran out of boulders, so I had to purchase additional boulders, unfortunately. And they're not cheap either for boulders. And the wall went in. I presumed everything was taken care of until Jim showed up that day on site. And when he started questioning things, as Jim knows what my response was, I believe everything's approved. I have...
Well, you said it's landscape. Is that what you said to me? When I said, what's up with the stone wall, you said, oh, that's just landscape. That's what you, exactly what.
Well, it's a stone wall, it's not a retaining...
Well, you didn't
it's
tell
not
me
a
that it was a
concrete
stopping wall. You didn't tell me it was a stopping wall. You said it's for landscape. That's what, exactly what you said, Bruno.
Well, it's the landscape to think it is, in a way. You got grass going on top of it. I don't know the terminology, the right terminology for it exactly, but for me, it's a stone wall, it's a grade differential, tiered wall, whatever you want to call it. I'm just following what I was guided to do. I wasn't guided other ways. If I was, I wouldn't have done the work, trust me, it would cost me more money to put this wall in. Why would I do it?
Marilyn's comments were, you know, whatever, just some sort of demarcation.
Yeah, and I
He used
had,
what he had, he was trying to save money, yeah, I get it.
the wall would have saved me money, I wouldn't have to do it, excavation time, I had to buy more boulders, you gotta buy smaller rocks to fill it in and all that. It's, don't get me wrong, for me, it's a nice looking wall, I have to look at it and I go, wow, this is a lot better than what I anticipated, to tell you the truth, but who's gonna look at it? I'm not gonna look at it, because I'm not gonna go down there. I'm gonna go down there on occasion, but it's not like it's front yard that everybody's gonna look at, why would I spend money on it?
Was that wall certified, engineered?
Certified engineered, it's a stone wall, I don't.
Anything over 4 feet has to be.
Yeah, I don't know if it meets the structural requirements, to meet
Yeah,
the
but-
sign off, the way it's laid out. Certainly take a look at it.
But again, this is, I don't have much more to say besides, again, I thought everything was taken care of. I actually getting some momentum on site now to try to get the house done. Roof's on, windows are in, and all of a sudden, fireworks, and I'm, well, why, what now? What now is all I ask.
What was the word fine?
Well, the site gentleman was renewing his Board of Health, big layers pipe or septic license or something of that nature. And the Board of Health agent, not the agent, I think the lady there mentioned something about, somebody mentioned for him to step into Concom's office, there's some new faces there, and we want to check in with them. And that's what he did, and that's when Jim came out that day, obviously, to take a look.
Well, like I was telling him, I asked him, first thing I said, I showed him the plans that we had in our file cabinet. And I said, Nelson, I said, is this what you did? And he says, yep. He said, the silk fence is within probably 2 inches. He says, it could be an inch either way. And so I said, I'll tell you what, you mind if I take a ride by there and just look at this, make sure the erosion control of the silk fence is still good? And he says, come on out. And then when I went out there, everything is just totally different than the plans that were in our office. And that's the plans that I went to, is the RDA plans is what I went to. And then your dry well was going in, that wasn't on the plans, and that's why I was confused. I was like, what's going in over there, Yeah, because it didn't even show the dry well on the plans. And like I said, even the plans, when I was going back, those plans don't even show the stone wall that wrapped around the house. And so it's like a lot of work's getting done that ain't even on the last set of plans.
Well, the stone wall comes here and it just extends over this way on this side.
Correct, but it's still more than what those,
Correct, but it's not, I understand, you are
it comes
correct.
quite a ways
It's not-
up, close to the driveway. It's not far from the
Yeah, we
driveway.
had extra boulders, and we might as well line it up, what am I gonna do, pay somebody to get rid of them now too?
So,
So, yeah, so my response after receiving the information was as follows. An IDA is valid for 3 years, typically wetland delineation is valid for 3 years as well. With the amount of disturbed area around the site, I believe this should have been filed as a notice of intent instead of back here. That's what I think. Marilee directed him to, do the demarcation line and roof drain system. She wasn't, actually she may have, but she was the stormwater agent, right? So that information was received from the stormwater agent. Whether it was correct or not, that was what was told to her. So then, my comments are the stone walls longer than 12 feet. It requires a stone wall. That's whatever. Calculations, they have the calculations for that basin, that was the
drywall.
dry well that was installed, so that could be provided to us, that's no problem. So my opinion was filing a notice of intent after the fact. That was what my opinion was. So that they can continue, we can do that relatively quickly, and they can continue on with their project. And what, the stormwater permit can be applied. That was.
Now in the NOI, you give them a deadline, like 3 weeks.
Well, I mean,
if you put in a stormwater permit, that could open up a whole can of worms. Because they told me, because now he's gonna have to do a drainage system to that wall and stuff, right?
no, there's no, it's just for, The bylaw says you need a stormwater permit for a retaining wall. That has no, that's just aesthetics.
6 foot high ain't aesthetics.
Well, we'll ask the building commissioner that. We don't, that's not our jurisdiction, is how tall the wall is. If you want to bring it up with the building inspector, then that's fine. That's the demarcation line on the plans for us. However, it's a wall now, it requires a stormwater permit. That's what our bylaw says.
You just said it's not a retaining wall, so how would that?
It's a wall.
Yeah, so what?
It's an impervious area that they added to their site. I don't know.
So now is this?
In our bylaw, it says it requires, stone walls require stormwater permit. So my recommendation to the commission would be file a notice of intent after the fact. File for a stormwater permit for the wall. Provide the calculations for that dry well, and they can continue on with the project. I think that's pretty reasonable. They came to us, they're not hiding everything, they came here, you know. They had communications with the agent at the time. I think they were given slightly wrong information. I think it could have been handled differently. The commission, you know, we have a lot of projects in town where order of conditions are expired. You know, a lot of projects. It's just, we're gonna be seeing them, they're gonna be refiling. It's an oversight. They got all this build stuff going on, and, you know.
Not even just that, like, I feel bad for like, the whole thing with Netherly and all them, so. But all really need a stormwater permit, you know, I kinda look at it as being grandfathered in. How long ago were you saying that? 2015? That's been forever, man, that was Merrill. Now to make them do more?
The IBA you filed was expired, it's been expired for the last 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, no, we're not disputing that the negative determination expired.
So that means no matter what happened back then on that IBA, it's all expired, that goes away. So even though Marilee, you say that, you know, oh, she said this, she did that, I read some of the correspondence, and some of them she had a box checked off that says, well, he's not within the 50-foot buffer zone, but obviously you did, but she said that you guys weren't going beyond the 50-foot buffer zone. So it's like,
That's on paper, it's not.
Yeah, and that was the original argument. We're not disputing that the current plan that was presented to the Board of Health, she did review this plan as well. So she was part of the review of this. We understand that what's being out there today, to your point, you know, the middle wall is different than what's shown on this plan. We acknowledge that. I think maybe to your point, the stormwater permit and the direction that we got at the time, you know, was that we should install the dry wells, and we did that based on the conversation.
And Marilee was the stormwater agent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
There wasn't, even at that time, it might not have, there was a stormwater review board, wasn't there? Like, meaning like other entities in town, like maybe somebody from planning,
Yeah, it was through the planning board, I don't know.
all right, maybe it was just, but Marilee was the agent, so.
but even the dry well then, I mean, it is, what'd you say, put it wherever you feel like it?
We asked the question of if a dry well will facilitate her comments on the building permit. And his comment to me was yes. So we put in a dry well to maintain that water that's sufficient.
She was in that building for.
I know, but what I'm saying is, it should be on the prints too. Like, when I was there, I should have looked at your prints and said, well, okay, here's where the dry well's going.
Yeah, and we're happy to provide like a reconciled set of plans that shows what the minor modifications along the way are and you know, what the final product is that is being constructed. We're happy to provide a plan of record, and maybe that would help resolve.
Well, that's the biggest thing, is just having this recorded properly through, you know, with the town, that's my biggest thing.
And I want to say, we didn't deny access. We felt that there wasn't enough information that you guys had based on what we were aware of. It'd probably be more confusing if you guys probably went to the site without the documentation that we provided.
No, I don't think so.
Now, yeah, you know, the information's there.
I think we should have walked it and then been here, and then we could have all said, okay, you're right, the wall does go this far. Instead, I'm telling them where the wall goes with Acushnet, and that's why I called you. I called you about a walkthrough. Joanne emailed you, asking for a walkthrough, and not once did you get back to us and say, yes, you can walk it on the 10th. Because what I said was, I think it's better that we walk it on the 10th, so we all know what's in our minds. That print don't show me nothing, because it's not what's out there. So if you're showing me a print that's not out there, I don't think it's fair to this board to even see that print, because it's not what's out there. I think that we should have been able to walk it when I first brought it up for the 10th, and then you called me, and I said, let's walk it the 10th, and then Joanne emailed you, let's walk it the 10th, and you never came back and said, oh yeah, let's walk it the 10th.
No, but
No, you
we
wanted,
did respond to the chairman and wanted to provide the additional information, so we at least had a better idea of what was approved by all the different boards and the correspondence that was done. with-
But like I said, you're still showing us a print that is not reality.
This print was the print that Marilee reviewed. She never asked us for additional information. We would have provided it. We were more transparent. I was more transparent with everybody involved because I already had the headaches before. I didn't want any more headaches.
and I agree with him. I mean, he asked for more time to provide all that information for context, instead of going in there and saying, stop, this isn't what the plan says. He says, well, here's the direction we received along the whole way to how we got to this point. How we're gonna proceed forward is what we're dealing with now,
And we're happy to allow a site walk, now that we're having a discussion here, just with the understanding of what the approach forward is, so that we're all on the same page. If we need a plan of record, we can certainly put a plan of record together. If you're gonna ask for a filing with the Conservation Commission, probably a site walk happens after we file, right? Because that would be the normal process of how it works. But if you wanna have a site walk earlier, I don't know, like that's the conversation that we wanna have.
What's the story we're going to do with you?
So this site
So it's
plan
gonna
is
take
actually
1 month.
not what's physically in actuality out there.
It's very close.
It's very close.
So the dry wells are not shown yet, as they weren't requested to be shown there. So we never came up with another updated plan. I've spent so much extra money here, between legal, between engineers, between the cost of construction these days. It's just adding on. It's not here for free, guys. It's here for a charge. I'm just frustrated personally, and I just don't know where else to go. I'm just trying to get it done. My kids are dying for this house. I'm dying to get it done. We had to buy another house in Acushnet. In the meantime, the previous drama, in order for my kids not to change buses, or change schools, they change buses instead. This house should have been built 5 to 6 years ago. And I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm all of a sudden going, again? What's causing this now? I dotted my I's, I crossed my T's, what more do I need to provide? That's all I have to say. I have no more. I really don't know.
I agree.
I'm not trying to challenge, like, I feel like he's gonna be grandfather, in my eyes, he's grandfather.
I'd like to see the calculation just to prove that,
It's just gonna cost him more money.
understood.
And for us to try to reprimand somebody on something that Marilee did, that's like trying to represent somebody on something that Pat did.
Well, anyways, there's a motion, and then I'm sorry, can you repeat the motion? You made a motion?
I made a motion to fill out, have a WPA 9 filled out with a notice of intent put on it for a 3-week, also a stormwater permit.
There's a motion,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
I'm no, that's what I'm saying.
I'm a no.
I'm a no.
No. Okay, so, yeah, so there was 2 yeses, 4 no's. Okay. So this is, you know. I'd like to see you guys file a notice of intent after the fact. With the current and permanent plans for the site, that existing, you know what I mean, what, the way it's gonna be. So the town has this on file, because what they have on file right now is not the state. So,
That's it. It's like $1,500, $2,000.
what's that?
So you do the set, all the plan work.
It's gotta be recorded with the town, you know, I just, it's a big change, you know?
It's not really a big change, what's a big change? The wall goes a little bit? It'd be cheaper for them to take a piece of wall out.
Can we give an as-built at the end of completion?
It's not a short change. To do all this work.
Have the foundation as-built,
Yeah, so we've done all the staking, it's all been laid out by surveyor, with the as-built of the building, you know, the building is located outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. So really, it's just the work that's in that buffer zone, which is mostly yard and changing the riprap slope to a step wall, basically, 7 foot tall riprap slope. Now it's a combination of 3.5-foot walls on the edge, and they do wrap around this building on the side. So for those plans, we'd be happy to submit some files for the record that show where the stormwater has been installed, that show the final condition of the project, if that's something the commission would entertain.
I just think, I guess I could go with that, you had constant contact with our agent. And you weren't told anything different, so
I don't know what that really was.
I get it, I just, you know,
Not like, I know firsthand.
Yeah, but when was the last time he was in contact with Merrill Lee, 2021?
Yes. Before she left, she went to another town. And that's when all the permits were issued, that's when the board of health permit was issued, that's when the building permit was issued.
What was permanent with that, right now?
But even on the thing, doesn't she say no work within the 50-foot buffer zone?
That was in the 2015 RDA, but she did review all these plans subsequent to that.
So I was reading some of her things, and nothing ever says that you can go closer to the buffer zone.
Merrily was very, very good.
I know what she was, Eric.
She would tell you, okay, you can do it, but then.
She's
put in
not
the
here, though.
paperwork, Put it 50.
She's not
That's the
here.
problem.
It's not here.
Okay, so
That's the
she's not here.
problem.
So if we don't have the paperwork, if I'm looking at what she said last on this, and I'll even read it to you, it says within 50 foot of the buffer zone. So if it's within 50 foot of the buffer zone and you guys went closer, right there says something to me.
But that was based off of the old drawing, 2015, not the most recent one, which you reviewed and signed off for the Board of Health.
Board of Health is for septic.
Yes,
she didn't sign off on the septic, she signed off on the plans, Jim.
We get there might be some things different, but me personally, I already walked there, I know what's going on, dude. And it's tough to even do it, try to build them down and do anything, like, I'm a prime example. I was homeless because of the way town took me so long to do. It's not right that people, to tell somebody that it's okay, and they come back and tell them you need to put another $1,500, $2,000 to get new plans, cut that off a little bit.
I'm as biased, either
Take
way
the
you want to
wall down,
collect
let it
a
go.
signature is fine. However, I do need to see the plan for where the septic and house will go with respect to the wetlands. Probably is easier just to bring it in, we're open now, just wear a mask.
That was just for clarification, that was prior to the Board of Health process, and this is the plan that was shown to her issue review.
But what I'm saying is that it's for the septic.
Okay, well, I mean, we can sit here and dispute this all night, or we can just try to be helpful to our other people in town too, you know? It's not right, it's just not right at the end of the day, there is morals and right to.
Yeah, but also, Eric, there was a plan that, even the last plan was submitted, they've done more beyond what the plan says. And that's what my biggest thing is. And for us to reach out and try to get a walkthrough before tonight, so everyone saw what was there, and it was denied, you guys never got back to
Talk to them,
us,
right?
I think it was wrong.
You talked to him,
Right,
right?
it was never denied. He just said, can I submit information to you so that to get everybody up to speed on the commission?
Yeah, but he's showing us a plan that's not even true to its values.
And what's missing here?
I'll point it
The
out.
dry wells, the stone wall,
Drywall didn't ask us to give him plans for.
Yeah,
Nobody asked us for that information.
I was there on the site this afternoon with Mr. Myers. The differences from what's shown on this plan are that instead of a, riprap slope that's about 6 feet tall at the back, it's a tiered stone wall. It's the same height, it's the same grading, it's just a different approach on doing it, that grade change in the back. It does wrap around the side a little bit. That doesn't impact the drainage, it doesn't impact the stormwater. It comes along,
30 feet.
comes along to the edge here. But again, it's, one boulder.
Yeah,
It's a full wall.
this is one boulder from,
How many basketball hoops?
from here to here.
There's
How many
sideways.
basketball hoops along
Right,
right here?
so can we do this? Can we have a site visit?
You guys can do a site visit whenever you want, right? You don't have to follow the schedule if you want to go out there.
Correct.
Yeah, so I just want to see it with my own eyes so I can make a determination, you know what I mean?
that's why I was requesting a site report, so we could see it, and we could make a better decision here.
Right, well,
And then it could be more open-minded with the commission.
Let's hold this for determination based on our site
So-
visit.
Need more information.
yeah,
For further information.
right, so that's what I'm saying, that's why, like, the whole wood line and the whole wetland system in Acushnet isn't gonna, get filled in because of this project's going on right now. They're trying to rectify the situation, so that's why I'm saying I wasn't up for a cease and desist. I don't ratify cease and desist unless I see it with my own eyes. And I wanna, I wanna see the site, and see the plans, see it with my own eyes, and then determine, well, you know what? This is the information you were given by the previous agent, and,
Snow.
We stopped work.
Yeah, so we stopped the site work, the
Just
building.
that day
is
Jim
outside
was
the
there.
zone.
We stopped work right away as he requested us to do, so we followed suit. We're not, again, trying to satisfy everybody and trying to make sure everybody's happy, and we want to do anything we're not supposed to do.
The erosion controls are in place along the edge, pretty solid as well, they're in good shape.
all right, so,
Yeah, you
So
There ain't no, I didn't see any wet flags still up there neither.
It has been since
yeah, it's been
2015.
since 2015. All right, so, well, let's conduct the site visit, yeah, and see what's going on. When you wanna do
And
it,
you have a button that's going there, telling you what's going on?
the Saturday
I
before?
mean, there's still snow on the ground. Is that,
Yeah, we definitely wanna go with no snow. Like I said, they built the road on the outside of the stone wall to build it.
What told them what the wetlands was and what wasn't? Is that in the paperwork?
the IDA?
Yeah,
No,
I'd have
who
to-
marked it? Who said it was a wetland?
Yeah, I'd have to look back in the original record. I know a lot of times when the site that was doing, they have consultants that they work with, somebody did it one out there.
No. From me, it looks like no pioneer people. Yeah, definitely got water.
All right, so let's, do you wanna do the Saturday before our next?
So it would be the regular schedule, you want to stick to the regular schedule of February 24th?
That's the next meeting, right? It's like 28th?
28th, yep, and then you have that
You can't-
site visit on the
You
24th.
can't do it this weekend or something?
Is there still snow?
It's snowing around, I mean,
We got more snow
We're gonna
coming
go
tomorrow.
snow on the way.
Yeah, well, we're not looking,
I still want to
we're looking
see,
at a wall.
no, I want to see the road on the outside of the wall that he used to build it, which I feel is in the wetlands.
And maybe just to clarify that, it's in the buffer zone, but nothing's in the wetland.
So if the stone wall, that corner is 25 feet from the buffer zone, and he had, no, go to the far right, right there. See where it says the 50 foot on the corner, go up a little bit, right, no, go up a little bit with your pen. right there, to the left a little bit more, right there.
Yeah.
So if he had a road on the back side of that,
Yep.
yeah, so he's a lot closer than the
He's got a
60 foot.
25-foot road behind it, because that's
It's not really
Yeah.
a road.
That's
it's
20,
just
that's,
lower-
that's the,
the
that
lower
dotted
area.
line is the 25-foot buffer zone now.
Right, the erosion controls are 10 feet off the wetlands, which was the energy.
That dotted line is 25-foot buffer zone. We have a no touch at 25 feet.
So right here, he has that, and we don't know where this actually is, because it's a two-step, this ain't the original. So right here, there's a road, and there was an excavator down there that built this wall. I can see all the area, I can see the fresh dirt in there, I can see it was cleared.
It means the methods in order to build the wall, you're
Correct.
supposed to drop it.
Right.
So this, we don't even know if this is within the 25 feet area.
How do you know if it's a wetland? Did you take it? What is that, pines?
Well, it says here on the buffer zone, is all I'm saying. So when you go out there, if this is 25 feet,
That's what was submitted originally, that's what we have on file. You're looking at Board of Health plan.
Thank you, Joanne.
All right, well, we're gonna conduct the site visit on February 24th. Just to see what's going on.
Is that next Saturday? Not this weekend.
Not this Saturday, the following Saturday.
and on the agenda for the 28th one,
Yeah, with the agenda for the 28th. So that's it.
Thank you for your time. Look forward to walking the site with you.
So just take your site, we're gonna conduct the site visit and see.
Are you gonna
see what
be on the site visit?
I should be at school vacation next week, so kind of dealing with kids and all that, but I'll.
Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you an email roughly what time we're gonna be there.
Yeah, what time is it normally? Is it?
We leave the town hall at 8:30, so it depends how many places we're gonna go and,
Which was first?
yeah, who goes first and in the
I
order.
don't think you have anything.
No new filings. Okay, so this will be the only thing on our agenda, pretty much.
Like 8:45, 9
Archie's,
o'clock, something like that?
Archie's wedding. Yeah, so it'll probably be around 8:45.
We'll do Meadowwoods Road first and Archie's Way,
If Archie's way,
if they're ready, correct.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right,
February 24th.
I guess,
12 Meadowwoods Road, and
I guess under agent updates, I'll bring this to everyone's attention. There was a letter from Eversource, they're gonna start, doing the borings near the Acushnet River, what is late March. And they were just, so there's that. No other business, future business, next meeting for the Conservation Commission will be on February 28th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can we hold on for 1 second? I'd like to just come up with one thing saying that we will not do any site visits if there's snow on the ground. I know Saturday that you were out there, you said the last time you walked this, it was 3 feet of snow on the ground. And I just want everyone to know that it's clear, we will not walk a site if there's snow on the ground. I don't think that's asking too much.
Well, I mean, a reasonable amount of snow, I mean. If it's somebody's going for an extension on their order of conditions, and everything's flagged and everything, you know, or.
Right, there's a little bit
that's
of
a broad
snow, but if we
brush,
got a
that's
foot of snow and we're
Yeah, I mean-
looking at wetlands or indeed, you know,
Right, and that's a broad brush to stroke, we're not gonna make a policy saying if there's snow on the ground, we're not gonna do a site visit. I mean, well, if we have a storm coming, or if there's heavy snowfall on the ground, you know, we can work it out on a situation basis.
I'm not trying to stop people from doing this, no.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah, but we used to do it.
It's like.
right, if there's, yeah.
I mean, there's a few sites that you guys, I've heard that you didn't even get out of the cars properly.
Yeah, but
So it's like, that's the only thing, and like you said Saturday, last time we walked this, it was 3 feet of snow.
Right,
So them are the only ones that I wanna make sure we don't do again. that's all.
Oh, you know, I agree, I
Alright.
definitely,
And we can take each one to, you know,
yeah,
and bring it forward and see if it's proper then or what.
right.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to take a motion to adjourn.
That's it. Second.
Ryan, any communication on credentials?
I have none.
What about the agent?
Crickets.
What about agent? Getting a
It's,
little burned out now.
it's posted,
Posted?
it is posted, so. And it's funded, well,
Is it posted?
As I saw it on the MMA, somebody brought it to my attention.
Yeah, it's on MMA, it's
No,
on the,
white
it's on the town, I haven't heard, I can reach out about that. What? Yeah, so, I presented the budget to the finance committee last night, so it's all level funded.
Cool.
So, there's that, there's a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned, 7:56.